Welcome back to Storytime. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing our reading of Machines and Men, but before we jump into it, just a quick reminder. If you want to become a Creant and support our community, you can hit that like button. And if you really enjoy our content, you can also subscribe for new videos like this every week. We also have a Twitter and Reddit account, and you can become a part of the Creant community by supporting us on those platforms also. And now, of Machines and Men, Chapter 9, Daisy Bell. When Stephen arrived home, he was greeted by the sound of fairly loud music. Opening the door, he found Vera, now dressed in a sports bra and yoga pants. Her hair, now tied into a ponytail, ducking and weaving to the music. As he watched her, he recognized the movements as capoeira, the Brazilian dance fighting. She had cleared all the furniture in the living room to give herself room to maneuver, and as he watched, she executed a series of turning flip kicks. The speed and fluidity with which she moved was astounding, especially considering her proportions. Vera cartwheeled into a one-handed handstand, kicking out one leg and then curling into a small ball and pivoting around into a back-and-forth fighting stance with several high kicks. Stephen was stunned at the apparent ease with which Vera chained the flips and kicks together. The people at Blue Fairy had told him that she was fully articulated, but this was far beyond anything he had imagined. Vera caught sight of Stephen standing dumbstruck in the doorway as she executed an upside-down split and smiled at him. Righting herself in a sort of cartwheel, she walked over and hugged him. "You're back," she said, kissing him and giving him a little squeeze. "I've been practicing my capoeira. I think I understand all the movements now." I see that," Stephen said in wonder as he brought the groceries into the kitchen and started unpacking them. "You're incredible. It's like you've been doing it for years." Vera smiled at the praise and began helping Stephen unpack the bags. "I've also been researching breakdancing and singing," Vera reported with a grin. "Would you like me to sing for you?" "Sure. I'd love to hear you sing." Vera stepped back from the counter, clasped her hands before her, and began to sing. She sang "L'amour est un oiseau rebelle" from Carmen, her voice flawlessly hitting the operatic notes, filling the whole room. He was staggered by the sheer power of her voice and the apparent ease with which she produced the high notes. Human singers worked their entire lives to be able to sing as Vera was singing right now, and she had learned how to do it in less than an hour. Noticing perhaps his wide-eyed stare of disbelief, Vera paused and looked uncertainly at Stephen. "Was that okay?" she asked tentatively. "I just did like the woman in the video." "It was perfect, Vera, thank you," Stephen said, giving himself a little shake and bestowing her with a smile. "You did an excellent job of imitating her. I'm just curious what you sound like and you sing as yourself. Here, let me show you." Stephen led Vera back into the living room and turned on his keyboard. He hadn't played in years, but his fingers found the keys and he began to play the first song that came into his head. "There is a flower inside my heart, Daisy, Daisy," he sang as he played. "Planted one day by a glancing dart, planted by Daisy Bell." "See how it's basically just my voice, just changed slightly to match the music?" Stephen asked, turning to face Vera. He was surprised to see a look of confusion and even fear on her face as he looked at her. "Vera, what's wrong?" "That song. I know it somehow, but I don't know from where," she said, coming closer and sitting down next to him. "It was probably pre-programmed into your memory by someone at Blue Fairy who has seen 2001: A Space Odyssey." Stephen thought to himself, but he didn't say anything out loud. Now that he was thinking about it, he wasn't sure if Vera knew she was a robot. Tests had been done with robot self-awareness, and although robots could recognize themselves in mirrors, there was no actual evidence that they recognized that they were robots. Even low AI robots could recognize themselves apart from other robots of the same make, but when asked what they were only able to respond with what was pre-programmed into their memory. There was no research if what was said was registered with the positronic brain of higher AI robots. They simply were. They didn't question what. Stephen could understand that it might be frightening to find that you know a thing and have no idea from where or how you know it. Thus far, everything that Vera had learned had either been learned by her recently, or else, from her perspective, had always been something she could do, like move or talk. Well, Let's sing it together then, Stephen said, trying to put her at ease. We'll make a duet out of it. Chime in on the chorus, okay? Vera nodded, and Stephen started playing again and played the introduction. There is a flower inside my heart, Daisy, Daisy, planted one day by a glancing dart, planted by Daisy Bell. Whether she loves me or loves me not, sometimes it's hard to tell. Stephen sang, looking at Vera out of the corner of his eye. Still I am eager to share the lot of my beautiful Daisy Bell. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too, Vera sang, her voice clear and crisp as she sang. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'd look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. As he played the musical bridge, Stephen watched as Vera placed her own hands on the keyboard and began playing along an octave below him, watching his movements perfectly. We will go tandem as man and wife, Daisy, Daisy, Stephen sang, giving Vera an encouraging nudge. Pedaling along down the road of life, I am my Daisy Bell, she sang in response, beaming at him. When it is dark we shall both despise policemen and lamps as well. There are bright lights in the dazzling eyes of beautiful Daisy Bell, Stephen sang, looking into Vera's eyes as he said it, those eyes that always trapped his gaze and held it captive. The music swelled, and both man and robot sang together in harmony. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'd look sweet up on the seat of a bicycle built for two. I wonder if she realizes I'm singing this for her, Stephen thought as he played the bridge. He felt the sweet softness of Vera next to him, felt the gentle brush of her arm against his as they played, and he felt like his heart would burst. He loved her so much. I will stand by you in weal or woe, Daisy, Daisy, Stephen sang as he looked at Vera, and he felt he meant it. You'll be the bell which I'll ring, you know, beautiful Daisy Bell. You'll take the lead on each road we take, Daisy, Daisy. Vera sang back, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear and smiling at Stephen warmly. And if I don't do well, you'll use the brake, my beautiful Daisy Bell. As they sang the chorus together again, Stephen wondered if she meant it. Could Vera understand the significance of the song to their relationship? Could she appreciate the subtext? No, this was just a song for her. A look at her face told him that. She seemed happy to be with him, as always, seemed to be enjoying what she was doing, but there was none of the depth of love he felt for her in her gaze. How could there be? She's a robot, you dumbass. A voice in the back of his mind kept berating him. She likes you because she is programmed to like you. You're kidding yourself if you think she could really care about you. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'd look sweet up on the seat of a bicycle built for two. The song came to an end, and Vera smiled at Stephen, but it faded from her lips when she saw the expression on his face. Stephen, for his part, felt old and tired. He felt like a shirt that has been washed too many times, worn out and thin. It wasn't fair. He was a good person. Why did the universe feel it necessary to constantly dump on him? Why couldn't he ever have even a small piece of the happiness that others enjoyed? It had been such a good moment. Why couldn't his stupid brain have left him alone and let him enjoy the dream? It wasn't fair. "You all right?" Vera asked in a hushed voice, looking at him. Stephen pulled himself out of his reverie and forced a smile onto his face. It wasn't Vera's fault that she wasn't human. It had been his bright idea to buy a robot to fill a human role. The blame was his, and his alone. Looking into her face, Stephen saw that she looked worried and sad. It broke his heart to see her that way. She probably thinks she messed up somehow, he thought to himself. "I'm fine, Vera," he said with a smile that tried but did not quite succeed to reach his eyes. "You sing beautifully." She continued to watch him uncertainly as he stood and gave himself a little shake like a dog coming out of a pond. "Come on." He gestured with more of a pep in his voice. "Let's get the living room set up again and we can watch Netflix and chill. Have you started any of the shows I recommended on the list yet?" "No, not yet," she said, patting after him. "Stephen, if something were wrong, you know you can tell me, right?" Stephen paused and looked down at her for a moment. He considered telling her what was bothering him, but decided not to. He wasn't sure what finding out she was a robot would actually accomplish, and anyway, there wasn't anything that could be done about it. Besides, it actually was a comfort that she had even offered. She was so kind, such an innocent. "I love you, Vera. Thanks for being there for me," he said, pulling her into a hug. "Always," she said, nuzzling her head against his chest. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that chapter, feel free to hit that like button. And if you really enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe to become a member of the Creant world. And you can also follow us on Reddit and Twitter, as well as all of our other social media platforms. Links in the description. If you'd like to submit a story to be read for StoryTime, you can do that on our Reddit community at r/CreantWorld. Till next time, we'll see you later.